Hello, everybody, and welcome to stage 2 of the 4x4 series, which takes us to Jurassic Coast. And if you know about this course, you know it hurts. It is a rolling course with Titans Grove and the reverse comp pretty much straight out the gate, so make sure you have warmed up for this one. As usual in advanced category, we have some heavy hitters in the mix who are ready to make us all question life through Titans Grove and every incline after that. But the start of this race didn't actually kick off as fast as usual. Now we have an early flyer, but the pace of the group should pull them back unless someone decides to jump across. And just like that, there they go. Now Titans Grove can always be a tricky customer, so try and push on the downhills to take the sting out of some of the smaller bumps, but also try not to push too hard over the inclines and turn it into a mini interval session. So if the group is sticking together, try and stay as efficient as possible and save them watts for the reverse comp. Now, as I mentioned last week, I am new to Advanced Cat, and as painful it is to say it, I have no business being at the front of these races at the moment. So I'm happy to let these front guys go and let the group work together to pull them back. At this point of the race, I was happy with how everything was going so far. It's always hard, but at this point, I didn't feel like any energy was unnecessarily wasted. But leading into the reverse comm, I was expecting the group to rip each other's legs off. Now the reverse comm isn't that long, and it has a nice descent afterwards where you can also super tap. So I was fully expecting orange numbers from the bottom. But it actually started out calmer than expected, especially as there were a couple of flyers still out front. Then, just as the group settled into a nice groove, Kevin attacks over the top, and you know the group is going to react as always, so always try and pay attention to those riders around you. Now for me, I know I'm not going to chase him back, but I need to make sure I stick with the main group, so increase the effort to match those around me, while staying in the draft of the stronger guys up front, who will hopefully pull us closer to the leaders. Another bonus for me in this race is I have a teammate. Now there is a rule in cycling, and that's don't chase teammates. Instead, I'm going to let the guys around me work harder to reach him, then once we pass Gaz, I'll do the same and he'll relax on our wheel. So coming to the top of the climb, I thought some of the guys might push harder to create a gap over the top. So to prepare for this, I flicked through a few gears, but it stayed together, and then it was time for some nice rest on the descent. Now we do have a group out front, but at this point I thought we would still catch them. But fair play to them, they pushed hard and kept increasing their... And for me, it was just time to relax, recover as much as possible, and get ready for the second half of Titans Grove. Coming into the second part of Titans Grove, we still had a solid group, but some of the stronger lads naturally wanted to push on and start to increase the speed, and this started to string out the entire group. At this point I thought my teammate was up the road with the chasing group, so I actually made the decision to let these boys work harder to bridge that gap, but it wasn't until after the race I realised we actually dropped him here. So a bit of a rookie error on my part, so in future, make sure you either have Zwift Power Live up or the companion app so you can see where your teammates are, as I was still feeling pretty good at this point, so could have pushed on to the second group if I was more aware. So leading out of Titans Grove, we have a nice descent before hitting the Jurassic Coast, and this is where the rolling hills will start to be cheeky. At this point, the second chasing group is around 10 seconds in front of us, and Tamo and Herbert are working hard to pull them back. And this is where racing can be cheeky if you have teammates. At this point, I still thought Gaz was up front, so I was more than happy just to chill at the back and save some energy. Naturally, if he wasn't up there, then I would have pulled more with the guys up front and hopefully get closer to the guys in the second group. And instead, my main concern was losing focus when some of the guys make a big effort to jump across, which we do pretty well throughout all these up and downs. Over the course of these undulations, the guys have been working really well, and you can now see the gap is starting to slowly come down. And it was at this point I was expecting one of the guys to take off and catch the group in front. Now fair play to the guys in front, they managed to hold that gap and stay away, so now it was time to start thinking about the sprint. The Sasquatch sprint is all about timing. With a quick descent and an uphill finish, you want to try and stay at the back of the group as long as possible, use the draft, slingshot through the group and then smash the pedals up the climb, which is exactly what I don't do. You can see I hit second wheel far too early, so then I have to use all this momentum and sprint to the finish, which I think we just about nail it, but then Tamo out of nowhere comes straight over the top of me and finishes in 10th. But that was a solid race from everyone, and it was nice for my gears not to get stuck this time so we can compete in the sprint. Even if it's not for top spots, it's always nice to finish strong. Anyway guys, let me know how you get on this week, and please like, comment, subscribe. It really helps us out, and we'll see you all in the next one.